Live on this Wednesday. Well, Ernesto becoming post-tropical yesterday, so no longer concerned with Ernesto. It is long gone, but on the list, the next name is Francine for the Atlantic hurricane season 2024 season name. So again, we are continuing to monitor the Atlantic basin for you. At this time, we're not noticing anything that is going to be of any concern anytime soon. However, we are approaching what is typically the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, being early to mid-September, and then from there the tropical activity climatologically usually drops off. So again, we're still in the thick of things. Now, as far as temperatures today, 105 in Lubbock, 104 in Waco, but nice up towards Illinois, 77 for the high today in Rockford. Welcome back to Local News Live on this Wednesday. It is day 3 of cleanup after historic flooding hit portions of Connecticut, one of the hardest hit areas being Oxford. And just look at this picture. The floodwaters collapsed in a house. This is just heartbreaking and also very striking, just the power of the floodwaters in that area. So they are in day 3 of cleanup, and unfortunately, a lot of roads still in disrepair. In fact, here's a picture of a road that was completely washed out by the floodwaters. And here's why. We had quite a bit of rainfall. A lot of this, if not all, fell on Sunday alone. So some areas 5 to even more than 12 inches of that rainfall. So right around Oxford, some areas reporting a little more than a foot of rainfall. So again, in a short period of time, that led to a lot of flooding. So some showers for today possible moving into eastern Connecticut, but they're not going to see that level of rainfall that they did earlier this weekend. Now, we could see additional showers that could result in some localized flooding to areas in the north, and that includes New York, Vermont, and also portions of New Hampshire. We're also seeing that potential for some localized flooding with monsoonal moisture that is increasing once again for today across parts of the Southwest. We're also tracking the potential for severe thunderstorms as we head northward in the northern plains, stretching down into portions of Colorado, seeing that potential for 1 or 2 storms to become severe. Well, stay with us. We've got more Local News Live after this. Welcome back to Local News Live. This beautiful looking shot is brought to us courtesy of our local Gray station out of Honolulu, KHNL. So just a few clouds there over Hawaii, but still a beautiful looking view out over the water there. Now, as far as what we're monitoring for the contiguous 48, well, we are seeing a chance for rain for some of us. In fact, as we take a look the next several days, we will see that chance for showers and also a few storms in southwest, also portions of the northern plains, and even the Pacific Northwest, where they need the rain because of the wildfires there. They'll start to see that chance for rain increasing just a bit, and also the northeast seeing some rain. As for today, we are seeing that chance for some rain across parts of the northeast, but fortunately, we're not going to see the flooding rains like we did earlier this weekend across portions of Connecticut, where they just were really hit with historic flooding in those areas. But we have high pressure in control of the weather pattern for the Midwest, so giving us some nice weather there. In fact, we are going to have nice weather as we continue in the next few days across the Midwest, where the DNC is happening. Now, in Chicago, speaking of the DNC, we do have below normal temperatures. It will be rising, though, as we go throughout the next several days, just a little bit above average by the week and early next week. Binghamton, New York is more than 10 degrees, 15 degrees today, below what they normally have for this time of year. So, yeah, some areas feeling cooler than usual for mid to late August. Not the case in Waco, Texas, not the case for a lot of areas in Texas. In fact, they have heat alerts in effect as their heat index values are climbing to as high as 111 in some locations. Also, temperatures just hot enough as themselves, 105 to 109 for the actual air temperatures today in Lubbock, Texas, with a heat advisory continuing into this evening. Stay with us. More Local News Live coming up after talking
to us about your national forecast. What are you tracking out there, Sandra?
Well, thanks, Deborah. We've got a lot going on in Chicago for the DNC, but the weather is nice and calm, and that's because we have high pressure in control there. Now, we are watching an area of low pressure. It's helping to steer in some moisture, some wraparound moisture across parts of the northeast, and some of this could make it into western Connecticut, but nothing like they've seen earlier this weekend. In fact, they had historic flooding earlier this weekend. You can see numerous roads were washed out, including this one. Now, we could see some localized flooding developing north of there in portions of New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire, but monsoonal moisture may increase chances for some localized flooding across parts of the Southwest. Also, we'll be monitoring the potential for a few strong, if not severe, thunderstorms to fire up from the northern plains, stretching down into portions of the central plains, as well, damaging wind gusts being the primary concern. Stay with us. More Local News Live after this.